Good afternoon and welcome to the regular scheduled meeting of the DeSoto County Board of Education. Let's stand and say the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming today. Moving forward, we need to approve the agenda. Mr. Usselton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the agenda.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make the motion to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Usselton, your superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I have early graduation requests that I would like to ask the board to please consider in executive session. To start out with today, we've got several students here with us that we are looking forward to recognizing. We have state championship students. We've got a cross-country state champion from Olive Branch High School, and we have our senior band state champions from Olive Branch High School. Just a few weeks ago, I went out to Olive Branch High School and we recognized the entire band. But I know our board also wanted to be able to recognize the band. And unfortunately, we don't have enough room for the entire band in here, but we did want to bring the seniors and drum majors here to make sure and recognize them. So this time I'll ask Principal Jacob Strickland to come forward and we'll start with cross country.
Good afternoon, board members. Thank you for having us today. I don't know about you, but if you were to ask me to go run 3 miles, it would not happen. If you were to ask me to run 3 miles in about 16 minutes, it definitely wouldn't happen. If you were to ask me to run 3 miles in 16 minutes through the woods, it definitely would not happen. However, going to the state championship in cross country made me have a deep appreciation for what these young men and women accomplish to earn this state championship. At this time, let me call up Mr. Christopher McGinnis, our cross-country coach, who has really transformed our program since he's been in charge over the last 2 years. Mr. McGinnis?
Good afternoon, board members. I would like to first start off by saying I met Preston as a wide-eyed 8th grader. It's February of the 8th grade year. He came to me, I went in middle school. He said, after I went down there and kind of gauged the interest of some of the younger kids down there as I was kind of trying to build the program, he came to me, curled up in my office one day, and said, what's possible? We kind of laid out, we talked for about a half an hour. I laid out what was possible with him. He looked at me in disbelief that he could do that type of thing, but he showed up. He showed up for practice. He showed up through the summer. He showed up on the weekend. He showed up whatever I asked him to do, he showed up and did it. And then he would go out and do more. I got to rein him back a little bit sometimes, but his consistent work ethic has proven to be unmatched, and some of his teammates are starting to see what he's put into the sport. And from finishing 3rd in the state his freshman year to being the state champion as a sophomore, it's not just him as an athlete, though. It is the leadership and the influence he has on his teammates. Just the motivation, just the encouragement he provides to them is one of the biggest things that makes him a special athlete. So at this time, I'd like Preston to come forward and be recognized.
Hold on a second. If y'all want to come up a little closer to take a picture, y'all can. Yeah. Same thing for band parents. Congratulations.
All right, state championship number 2. If you've ever been to Pearl High School, it's a phenomenal facility for a band to host a band state championship. Jumbotrons on each end of the field. It's a phenomenal place. But when it is all said and done, they line up all the bands across the football field, everyone that performs. I want to say this year it was 12 bands. I don't remember correctly, but they start at the beginning, go to the top. When they get to the top, the last 2 left, they recognize the champion. Well, last year, when it got to the final 2, the announcer said by half a point, we got second place. And obviously crushing. You either lose by 10 and lose by half a point. But these guys went back to work immediately. Mr. Moss and his staff went back to work immediately and rectified what he identified the problem. Said, me, if you get second place, that's not a problem. That's pretty good. But yeah, he saw some things that he needed to work on, and he attacked it immediately, and it proved throughout the entire course of this band season and to bring home another state championship for Olive Branch High School. This time, our band director, Mr. Thaddeus Moss.
All right, good afternoon, board members. First, I want to thank God for leading me back to Olive Branch. I started out at Olive Branch, student taught at Olive Branch, and just extremely happy to be back. I'm also proud of these hardworking students for their leadership and commitment to excellence throughout the season. I would also like to thank our district administration, band staff, designers and arrangers, parents, and community for their outstanding work and support for our program. And at this time, I will call the senior band members forward to be recognized. First is going to be Elijah Cobb. Next will be Erica Collimore. Dr. Go ahead and stand up. Go ahead and stand up and start making your way up. Make it faster. Next will be Devin Crouch. Next we have Dylan Davenport. TJ Esther. Brady Gott. Kiara Henderson. Madison Lawrence. Isaac Lorazano. Cynthia McGregor. Aaliyah McNeil. Karen Perez. Paul Fox. Alan Privet. Ramos. Aiden Warren. Haley Wilson. Tyler Weisenhunt. Kanaya Woodard. And Reagan Young.
We'll get our seniors up here with me.
Okay. Seniors come back up, we're gonna take it.
We put some students on stage, some.
All right, be on the short side, stage. Short side, get on stage. So you go over. Short side, and each begin.
Congratulations. On behalf of our school board members, I want to congratulate our students who are here today, our cross-country state champion and our band state champions, and so proud of y'all and all that y'all accomplished there. And we are about to get started with the board meeting. Parents, we appreciate y'all being here also, and if y'all want to stay, if any of y'all want to stay, you can. But if you're wanting to leave, now would be a good time to leave. This time we'll start our teacher spotlight segment. We'll ask Ms. Aisha Maxwell, Swan Lake Middle School. Please come forward.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I want to say good morning, but it's not morning. I want to go back to the beginning of the day. But I am Aisha Maxwell. I'm the principal, proud. Very, very blessed to be able to work with this group of staff and students. And we're really excited to present to you something that we kind of didn't set out to come up with, but this is just what has happened. And I say it literally every day, about every Eagle every day. And I have two wonderful teachers here with me to present basically what every Eagle every day means. It is an Eagle experience every day. And I have with me Ms. Garth. She has been she's a sixth-year teacher at Horn Lake Middle School. She's our co-med chair. She's also going to be an assistant principal candidate coming up. And so she's excited to present. She loves our Eagles and our Eagles love her. And then we have Ms. Mullen, who's also been teaching at Horn Lake Middle for 12 years. And she's taught just about every subject there is. And that is that's talent, because I cannot teach math. And she can teach math and English. That's a wonderful thing. Anyway, she is also a loyal and loving Eagle, and they are both very excited to present to you what we call like I said, it's an Eagle experience. We're going to talk about what every Eagle every day means. Soon, I'm going to be their Vanna, as soon as I can remember what to do to get it started. All right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Every Eagle, every day at Horn Lake Middle School.
The Eagle Vision, Horn Lake Middle School, in cooperation with students, families, and the community, is committed to providing opportunities that will promote educational growth, a sense of responsibility, respect to others, and self-pride that will enable students to reach their fullest potential. Every Eagle grows. At Horn Lake Middle, we have an A/B block scheduling. Our sixth grades are in teams and pods. We hand schedule each student according to their needs, shown by the map benchmark. We have effective PLCs where we analyze data to move students throughout the year as the needs change. We have study skills classes, remedial programs to intervene and enrich our students according to their needs.
Okay, so we have data-driven tutoring and enrichment. So our tutoring bridges the learning gaps where students need additional support. We take data from the previous year's map and we place those students in their lowest performing area, whether it's math or reading. We also schedule students who score proficient and advanced into our advanced classes for math and ELA. We want to make sure that we're challenging every student. We also have the tutoring time every day with our students. And so what tutoring looks like is our students have an individualized program on the computer, and that pathway meets them where they are. So if they're on a fifth grade level, that pathway meets them at that fifth grade level. But if they're above the grade that they're in, that pathway meets them and challenges them and pushes them further. In our tutoring classes, what that looks like is while they're working on that, teachers are pulling students one-on-one for a little one-on-one teacher time with things that those students are struggling with, whatever standard they need help with.
Learning lab. This is my favorite part of the day. Learning lab is where our special education students work on their grade level goals. This helps them with the grade level curriculum. We meet the students where they are and we challenge them in order to grow. During that 90-minute period, my students, they have the opportunity to work on their deficits along with those power standards that will be taught and what they'll see at the end of the year. I even have great teachers that they give up their planning to even come in to reteach our students and meet them where they are. This is one of our teachers, Miss Patty. She is awesome, and this is her interacting with her kids in her learning lab.
So is what we're doing effective? If you look at our scores from the 22-23 school year, you can see that we have grown significantly, and that score is not even accurate. It's a little bit higher than what is projected there for the 23-24. So Horn Lake Middle School had the largest increase in points on the 2024 map. We grew 28 points, which is actually 2 points higher than shown on the previous slide.
Horn Lake Middle School special education students also outgrew their other students with IEPs in the district. And here's our teachers teaching in class. This is the way we see our growth within our students. Every Eagle learns responsibility and leadership. We have Eagle of the Month, which shows our teacher and students. We have Eagle Attendance. We want every Eagle present and learning every day. We have Eagle Honors, where we recognize our students who have good behavior and good grades. We also have Eagle Involvement, which is clubs and community.
So our clubs, organizations, and community involvement is one of my favorite things at Horn Lake Middle School. I am the school sponsor for the Beta Club and the Student Council. Beta Club last year at Horn Lake Middle School received a school distinction because we inducted so many students. We're also very involved in the community. Beta Club and Student Council work at the Horn Lake Spectacular. We work at the Horn Lake Christmas events and Easter events. We will also be in the parade that is coming up this weekend. In addition to Beta and Student Council, we also have Art Club, Robotics, STEM. We have Fine Arts, which include band and choir.
We also have our athletics, which is basketball, football, soccer. Even with our students, they can also participate in sports at the high school level, which is baseball and bowling. We also have our Eagle Fest, where we bring in the community. This great idea was brought on by our admin, Ms. Maxwell. It's very fun, so maybe next year, or we have one in the spring, you guys come out. We have Eagles Honors, where we have an honor breakfast for our students, recognizing them for good grades and their behavior. We have an Eagle Veteran, where we recognize our teachers as well as the veterans in the community. We have an upcoming career day. We have Literacy Night, where parents come in and see what their child is learning. We have a breast cancer awareness walk, where two teachers came up with this idea because they had been affected by this of this disease. And we also had one of our board members come this year, Miss Riley, to participate with us. And we have our 8th grade promotion ceremony to celebrate the success of our 8th grade students. And here are some of those events. Here's one of our students, Miss Caitlin. She is a entrepreneur. She sells bracelets. As you can see at the Eagles Fest, she had Miss Maxwell purchase her first bracelet. So definitely come out this spring.
So every Eagle every day develops respect for self and others. Every Eagle has an advocate. So at Horn Lake Middle School, we've implemented something new this year, and it's called advisory time. It is an Eagle advisory period. During this time period, we do lots of different things. I want to tell you though that from the ages from 10 to 15, adolescents experience rapid growth. This is the most growth that you experience in your lifespan other than infancy. Part of being an effective middle school educator means being responsive to this growth and this development that our students are experiencing and going through. So this year at HLMS, we started advisory period where we begin each day in a small group, about 15 students with a teacher. During this time, we focus on promoting positive experiences for student, which improves overall school successes. Advisory time is used to build relationships. We implement activities to build a sense of self and self-esteem. It's used to work on communication skills, and it also helps enhance our sense of community within the building. Teachers during advisory time become advocates for our students, and we work with our students on appropriately advocating for themselves. Research shows that effective advisory programs produce overall higher GPAs. It increases attendance and it decreases behavior referrals. If you look up here at the slide, you can see our outline of what we do during the week for advisory. So on Monday, we set a goal for the week. It can be academic, but it does not have to be. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we really focus on life skills in order to empower our students in areas like communication, resolving conflicts. And then on Fridays, we take some time to declutter and refresh for the next week. These are some pics of things that we do in our advisory time. We play games to help build community and things like that, cleaning out backpacks, just helping students organize, learn how to organize.
Every Eagle every day is spreading the community. Just like we talked about before, these are some of the events that we have. An active PTO, the Eagle Fest, Veteran Appreciation. We have guys and ties and girls and pearls, literacy and STEM nights, and community. City of Horn Lake volunteer opportunities where our beta and our student council to volunteer in the community. What does every Eagle every day mean? We have created a family here at HLMS. We push both the teachers and students to excellence, build a sense of community, build confidence with every student so that they know that they belong, and most of all, know that they belong here. This is every Eagle every day.
And what we have is a small movie just so you guys can kind of see that in action.
Because every Eagle every day to me, it means that our community is small place willing to know anyone and everyone from my middle school. Not just the students, but instead, principals and many other faculty. Everything to me is that I'm here to help every person who wants in the school, and I'm here to encourage and things that answer the question about something that's I am tall and listen to them today.
Promise I played this like 5 times.
Every Eagle every day means treating people with kindness and being respectful.
Hello, I'm Miss Logan. Whatever there is that I know that my child comes to school, she is safe, she has great teachers, the admin is great. If I need anything, I don't hesitate to give her a call. She also has great coaches and also great friends, and the activities that Horn to provide for the students are great, interesting, and she looks forward to coming to school every single. Every Eagle every day means to me as a parent. Being a new teacher and a new parent coming to school, my son, I must say, adjusted quite well. He absolutely loves coming to school. He loves his teacher, and most of all, he really loves choir. So this has been a very good experience for him, and I look forward to his educational journey here in Parlay High School. Every Eagle every day. What it means to me as a parent is that I'm continuously reaching across the aisle to ensure that I have constant communication with teachers and with admin to ensure that my Eagles and other Eagles are receiving the quality education that we know is available here in Hawaii, and also that I'm staying involved and aware of what's happening. I have to hold myself accountable as well as the teachers and admin accountable. Every Eagle every day. What does every Eagle every day mean to me? I believe that every Eagle every day means setting a high expectation for my students and holding them accountable for achievement in their actions. I believe that keeping the students engaged in the classroom can help keep them motivated, give them a sense of hope, and a space for their creativity. Every student is different. You have to take different measures to make sure you're reaching each student. Every Eagle every day. Hey guys, I'm Cole Bostic, one of the assistant principals at Coon Lake Middle, and to me, every Eagle every day simply means we're all on the same page after an end goal that is greater than ourselves, and as teachers, administrators, counselors, students, we're all after success for these students, for the academic, behavioral, social success of every student in the building. Dr. Kyle? My name is Keith Powell. I'm the assistant principal here as well. Every Eagle every day for me means that we come in every day with scripture for every child. We know that each of our children differently. We make it our best to come in and try to utilize their strengths, find out what their weaknesses are, and make a scripted plan for each of them on a day-to-day basis. Because we know we have to come in with things that they deal with outside of school. It becomes an everyday thing for us. So we come in locked and loaded, ready every day to find our students where they are, try to help them get to the next level. That concludes our presentation. Thank you guys for listening.
Great presentation. We appreciate y'all. Obviously, a lot of hard work went into that. We always enjoy going to Horn Lake Middle School. I remember when came out there during staff development. Y'all may have been the most energized group I think I've ever seen that day. It was awesome. Ms. Maxwell, you do a great job of leading Horn Lake Middle School, and we greatly appreciate all that you do. So thank y'all. Thank y'all for being here this afternoon. Great presentation. It's awesome. All right, at this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Beth Turner to please come forward. She's our Director of Workforce Development, and we've got periodic updates throughout the school year. We've got so much going on in workforce development, we can't do it all in one board meeting. So turn it over to Ms. Turner.
Well, thank you and good afternoon. I'm excited to be able to share some additional updates. And for this update that I wanted to get to you, I wanted to take an opportunity to highlight a really unique experience that some of our educator preparation students had over fall break. At Ole Miss, they were invited to participate in the Transition to Writing Conference. So they took one of their days during fall break and served on a panel discussion. And the topic that they presented at the conference was artificial intelligence and how that affected both high school students and teachers. And so they have a really unique view of that because they are learning to be a teacher. They see what that looks like in the classroom, and then also from them for the student aspect as well. So I have invited them along with their teacher, Mrs. Sowell, to give just a very brief overview of their experience and some of the main points that they talked about during the conference. So thank you again for your support and the opportunity to highlight this unique experience that they had over fall break. Good afternoon. I'm Heather Sowell. I'm the ed prep teacher. I spoke with you last year. I'm not going to do all the talking today. I'm actually going to let my students do most of the talking because they did most of the talking at the panel. We were invited last summer to present at the Transitioning into College Writing Conference at the University of Mississippi. It was a really interesting venture for us. And they did take one of their days during fall break, but we prepared for this for about 2 weeks. They actually paneled teachers that they worked with. They paneled teachers that we worked with at CTC. They paneled other students, and they were able to kind of look into more in depth, even into the elementary age, and the use of artificial intelligence in our schools. Obviously, that is becoming very popular these days, and we are using computers and technology in our classroom a lot. The findings, though, as we started discussing this and creating our discussion for the panel, were kind of interesting. And that's why I would like them to take over, because it surprised a lot of the teachers and the professors at Ole Miss. And it has actually started to change some instruction from that discussion panel. So I'm going to let them take over, and they're a little nervous, so give them just a minute.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, my name is Bethany. I'm here with a couple of my classmates. Yes, I'm here with a couple of my classmates. We are a part of the Ed Prep Career Tech East program. And as Ms. Sal said, we did go to the college, and we were talking about the effects of AI and how it was going along, basically. So over the summer, our program was asked to present to current college professors, high school teachers, middle school teachers, and current college students at the Transitioning into College Writing Conference hosted by the University of Mississippi. The theme for the conference was how to integrate the use of AI in the classroom. And we created a roundtable discussion describing our opinions of AI and how the technology usage in the classroom affected us. We surveyed other students, high school and middle, use our knowledge and experience as teachers, assistants in middle school and elementary schools around the district, spoke with teachers, and created roundtable discussion with fellow students at CTC East in order to collect data for the conference.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask some questions. I just want y'all to think about it while we go through this kind of thing. Okay. Okay, so how many of you all have glanced at your phone or watch for 30 seconds or a minute or 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes? And how many of you have used AI for getting directions, going somewhere, finding a TV show, trying to find a new song, or, it's, okay.
I think we all have done that.
Hey y'all. Okay, so we use AI in our everyday lives. It's almost impossible not to use AI. It is basically ingrained in us in every aspect of our daily activities. The future is here. I mean, when something shows you how it is, you have to believe it. It is an ever-changing, ever-growing realization that all generations are learning to navigate. So how do we do that? And how does that look for us in education?
The first topic we discussed to address was the use of technology in the classroom and how it's changed the dynamic of teaching and the learning environment altogether. We surveyed some teachers who had varying options on the use of technology in the classroom. Most all teachers we spoke to felt the struggle of competing with the cell phone, watches, and technology in the classroom. Students are beginning to become dependent and addicted to the immediate entertainment and information at their fingertips. As I have been in the classroom throughout DCS, it is impossible for teachers to compete with these. Even really good teachers create engaging, hands-on activities experiences in classrooms. This leads the teachers to becoming more dependent on creating research and learning just to try and keep students' engagement and attention. Teachers are also having to address safe technology usage emotional and social issues that arise through social media and cyberbullying, and the ever-growing discipline issues that arise through technology usage, only adding to their already full plates. Surprisingly, students feel the pressure of technology usage as well. Speaking with fellow Ed Prep students, we are surprised that the consensus among our classes was that technology was dumbing us down and adding extra stresses, emotional and social, that we're changing the atmosphere of our classroom. We felt teachers were becoming dependent on technology, and when there are glitches, there was very little learning in the classroom, except Miss Sal. Miss Sal would have us building houses in the back, and as a backup plan. We then took the question to students outside of Ed Prep. It was surprising that the majority of students felt the same. Even though they complained about teachers fussing about technology usage in the classroom, they secretly wished there were more restrictions and help navigating usage responsibilities. This led us to straight into the discussion about AI, the positive and negative aspects of AI, and how we believe it should be used in the classroom.
We took this conversation back to COVID. COVID changed education. Teachers and students had to learn a totally new platform with which to teach and learn. The computers were a blessing, allowing us to continue education, and a curse, allowing us to take shortcuts as teachers and students that hindered learning. Grammar and spell check became Chat GPT, writing essays in our own voice, solving math problems step by step, and answering any social studies or science questions. We could all do that within seconds by the lookup by Google. Technology and AI took away the essential tools learned in a traditional classroom, such as problem solving and learning time management effectively, all under the pretense of working smarter, not harder. We lost the ability to communicate, ask questions to each other and teachers, and socialize without texting. It taught us that we really could wait until 11 o'clock to make sure that assignment was turned in and done by 11:59, because we would be able to easily and unapologetically look up the answer we needed to make the grade. AI is not going anywhere. It is our future, and education will have to conform to its positive and negative aspects. It is helpful in a crunch if used correctly. It can even teach us information that is valuable. It is already diagnosing disease, creating treatment plans, and sending off rocket ships into space. It is also helping new and seasoned teachers create lesson plans and activities that are engaging and full of valuable information. So we ask students and teachers alike, where is the happy medium? Reluctantly, students agree that using AI in school has its advantages, but it is beginning to make an entire generation somewhat lazy, making us dependent on these machines instead of our brains and problem-solving skills. As we took the discussion to the conference, teachers, professors, and college students agreed that AI has its place in the classroom, but it should be limited. You could tell college professors and high school teachers were shocked when the high school and college students began asking for a more traditional approach to writing, more handwritten essays, peer editing, one-on-one writing conferences, and less computer-based learning. Our discussion has recently influenced several high school teachers and college professors to reevaluate bringing back the traditional teaching practices as well. They're thinking about incorporating the use of technology and AI sparingly instead of it being the full thing which they use. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Turner, is that, Ms. Turner, do you have anything else to add? Okay.
Yes.
I want to thank y'all for doing that. And I think we would all agree, there's got to be that happy medium there. Y'all use that phrase in there, and AI can, just like social media, there's a lot of positives and a lot of negatives. And as we maneuver through these next few years, we've got to find that happy medium there to make sure it's useful. So, great presentation. Y'all represent our district well. Thank y'all. Thank you, Ms. Turner. Thank you, Ms. South. All right, at this time, I'll ask Mr. Ryan Kirkendall, please come forward. Kirkendall is our Chief Accountability Officer, and I've just asked him to give y'all an update on accountability.
Those last two presentations are going to be a hard act to follow. Awesome. Okay. So good afternoon. We wanted to continue, when we talked to you guys about the final results in September, we talked about the accountability model changes that are coming. And so we've had an accountability task force meeting since then. So we wanted to give you a very quick update as to what might be coming and then what our district is planning to pivot. So just a quick refresher, the accountability model is being looked at right now for changes. And after those changes are made, the letter grade cuts that determine what's an A, B, and so on, that will change. And this will begin in the year 25-26 with those results. It will be much harder for schools and districts to maintain the letter grade at that point, just because certain measures are going to move up from where they are now. So there'll be way less A's across the state for districts and schools. Last time I told you, based on what we know, none of these changes would impact 24-25, but at the accountability task force meeting, we did learn that there is going to be one change. We're not going to have new EL data for the EL component as we transition to a new vendor. So just deciding how to handle that exactly. But that is one thing that has. So I do have this part in bold because I do want to emphasize this. Like what I'm about to say is not, it's far from final. It's not even in the stage before final. It's just conversation at this point. But these meetings for the accountability task force, they're live streamed. So this is public information. So I'm not saying anything you can't go on YouTube and watch yourself. The major change to the accountability model to go into effect in 25-26 is that diploma endorsements will be added. You may not be familiar with diploma endorsements. I'll describe that in just a second. There are some other smaller changes, such as adding ASVAB testing. The EL component formula will change with the new vendor, and then there will be some partial ACT work keys credit that's below college benchmarks to meet some other key milestones, if you will, for students. But diploma endorsements is the large change that seems imminent. So what is diploma endorsements? It's an add-on to regular graduation, if you will. Hence the word endorsement. And it encompasses a lot of different things. So students' GPA is part of the requirements, certain ACT scores, certain ACT work key scores, number of credits, types of credits, programs completed. You have military, JRTC things in there. You have CTE things in there. You have more towards academic. So it's different paths for students. So that's the reason there's so much interest in adding that. It is an achievement factor that's easily defined and measured. So you've heard a lot about workforce, and it is ironic that I was following Ms. Turner because workforce is the theme of the state right now. So the truth is the MD and the legislators, they really want more true workforce readiness indicators in the model other than diploma endorsements. But here's what we've learned. There's just a lot of inequity across the state right now with workforce development, and finding what you can measure is really tough. So the second bullet there will tell you, I think they realized we got to do step one before step two. And step one seems to be, let's get some state things in place first. Some workforce indicators that are based on like post-secondary outcomes or internships or those kind of things. But the state right now is working hard to implement those. Ms. Turner is on a committee involved in that at a very high level. And then possibly the MD will figure out how to get and or report data from that, and then we put it into accountability. Okay. We wanted to do it right now while we're revamping things. Makes a lot of sense, right? But you got to get it set up for us first. You can't put the cart before the horse. So that's just kind of what's happening. So I guess you could say, in my opinion, this is phase one of accountability, and there'll probably be a phase two in a couple of years. I guess. So at this moment, there are no planned changes to the 700 scale. The 700 scale is the technical term for the scale that the elementary and middle schools are on. There's going to be one change, and that's the reset of the letter grade cuts, and it's a huge change. But as of this moment, we're actually not discussing changing any components. But again, that's at this moment. So the next slide, we'll discuss the 3 scales and the reset process. So we're going to reset the letter grade cuts, because that's what's going to be the big thing. So the Accountability Task Force has determined a mix of a criterion reference and a norm reference approach. And so basically it's just 2 steps, and we're looking at doing these steps in this order, which is really different from how we've ever done this before. So step 1 would be determine a typical profile of what an A district or an A school should be by component. So like reading proficiency, math, growth, college career readiness, these types of things. And one thing that is going to be heavily debated and possible in that would be minimum proficiency numbers that would be required to be an A district. So that's going to be a discussion that happens after we have 24-25 data starting in the summer, and we'll be looking at that. And then step 2 is, okay, so you did step 1, where did the distribution fall when it comes to total points? So maybe we tweak a few things based on how we actually set the distribution. But I do want to point out, this is much different than when you have ever heard us talk about reset letter grade cuts in the past or anything. This is much different how we were there before. Before it was the top 10% of total points, just top 10% for districts and schools on each scale, and that is not how we're doing it. So it will cause a lot of change from current letter grade cuts. That's the big takeaway. So here's our district plan, last slide. So what are we doing about this? Because there's 2 angles here. Well, we build a new accountability model that helps students. So we want to do things that are helping students and helping accountability. So that's what you will see that we're addressing here. So we're in the process of implementing instructional practices based on the science of reading, which we expect to continue to increase future state assessment scores and future ACT scores. This will take several years to implement and impact test scores, but that is currently a big philosophy of the district. We're creating more paths for parents to help prepare students for kindergarten from an instructional and social standpoint. This should help students now, but the accountability effect will be in the future, with students being so young. We're evaluating our processes, procedures, and policies to be sure we are aligned with encouraging and preparing students to be able to achieve higher diploma endorsements. The MIS department, workforce development, accountability, and accreditation departments all must come together and play a major role while working within the high school academic team's plan. It encompasses so much. This is important to students since college scholarship, military, and workforce indicators are all a part of the requirements to achieve higher endorsements. So again, students and accountability. I love when they go together, which is most of the time. We must continue to evaluate CTE selections, school master schedules, and be creative in assisting teachers in order to raise ACT and ACT work key scores. ACT and ACT work scores, ACT work keys are going to be a huge emphasis in the new model. There's a report that the MBE just presented back to the legislators where they're discussing placing some high school assessments with ACT, and that would increase ACT slates substantially. The bottom line is our workforce development team, through CTE, through ACT work keys, and our accountability department must come together to aid the high school academic team to make that happen. Obviously, this helps students' ACT scores, college scholarships, as I'm learning now, as I have a college student, and another one coming, and ACT first, and then ACT work keys help students earn higher pay if they're going straight to the workforce, higher ACT work keys. So ASVAB is coming, it's going to have more of an emphasis now, which is the military-based testing that you might have participated in when you were in high school. So the curriculum and the testing, that's going to increase for students. It's going to be in the accountability model. I feel very confident. This is an area that will also bridge workforce development and our assessment team while working within the high school academy. So this last bullet, thinking of what I said, phase 1, phase 2, and what's best for students. Bottom line, we must keep building our workforce capacity in our program so that we truly have students ready for enrollment, employment, or enlistment. That's the reason that these 3 avenues, the main reason that we're having any of these discussions in accountability right now is so students can have a choice to be prepared for one of those 3 avenues. So bridging our workforce development department, what is happening in accountability is very, very crucial as we go forward. I'll be happy to entertain any questions anybody might have.
That's a lot.
At what point do you think they will have everything ironed out and we will have a tangible timeline for when everything is going to be in place?
So phase 1, fall 2025. So If you wanted me to predict, I was actually texting with someone who does similar work to what I do in another district this morning. He was asking me when I think we will know something about letter grades. I told him if I had to guess around this time next year, we might have an idea what we would be as far as letter grades go with the new situation, what we'd be with the new components. Now, phase two, I'm sorry, I think like with the workforce being more part of it, that they'll have to get some things in place. It'll take a couple of years. They'll probably do like a data dashboard kind of thing is what I'm picturing, you know, and then they figure out how we work that accountability. So that could be a multi situation.
Coupled with that and workforce development, and I know speaking on behalf of the board, workforce development is so crucial right now because no matter even what it looks like with accountability, it's what's right for our students, making sure that they're ready to be employed, say, once they leave college. And that was one thing. We had a meeting yesterday with the state superintendent. He said that he's our number one job is to make sure the students, when they walk out the door at graduation, that they're prepared for the world. Yes, sir. We got to do. So, great. Thank you. Great presentation. Three great presentations there. One like middle school, workforce development, accountability. We appreciate that. All right, that concludes my superintendent.
Very nice. All right. Mr. Keith, do you have an attorney?
I have no attorney.
Approval of the November 21st, 2024 board meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Again, before we move on to the consent agenda, I just want to again say thank you to our administration, Ms. Eldred, for getting this to us, especially this time, really early in advance for us to go through and make sure any questions are answered, allows us to make the most informed decisions we can. So we thank you all very much for that. Consent agenda this week is A through GG. Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the consent agenda.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. New business, Mr. Williams. AC air conditioning bus retrofit?
Just want to buy some cars.
Yeah, well, I figured you're gonna get the cars eventually, so.
Yes, sir. Well, we had a reverse auction that was conducted on November the 20th for buses to be retrofitted with air conditioning. It's my recommendation to accept the lowest and the best bid from Kroll's Truck Center.
Mr. Usleton, your recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the lowest and best bid from Crow's Truck Center for AC bus retrofit.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, request for proposal for the DeSoto County fleet vehicles.
Yes, sir. We have requests for proposals that opened on November the 18th, fleet vehicles based on their response to our RFP and the tabulated scores from the evaluation committee. It's my recommendation to accept the bid submitted by Landers Auto Group.
Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve accepting the bids from Landers Auto Group for the DeSoto County fleet vehicles.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, contractual agreement for Landers South LLC.
Yes, sir. We're requesting permission from the board to enter into a contractual agreement with Landers LLC for the district fleet.
Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve entering into a contractual agreement with Landers South for the fleet vehicles.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, request to purchase vehicles for child nutrition.
Yes, sir. The Child Nutrition Department is requesting to purchase 2 trucks from Landers Auto Group. The vehicles were procured through the district's purchasing department, utilizing the RFP process.
Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the request to purchase the vehicle for child nutrition.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Request to purchase vehicles for plant maintenance, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. The physical plant department is requesting permission to purchase 4 trucks from Landers Auto Group. These vehicles will be used as general maintenance service vehicles.
Mr. Usleton, your recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the request to purchase the vehicles for plant maintenance.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, request for purchase vehicles for plant maintenance.
Yes, sir. The physical plant department is requesting permission to purchase 7 passenger vans from Landers Auto Group. These vehicles will be part of the district fleet.
Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the request to purchase vehicles for plant maintenance.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I'll make that
Do I have a second?
Second the motion.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, request to purchase vehicles for plant maintenance.
Yes, sir. The plant maintenance department is requesting permission to purchase a Ford Transit van. Vehicle will be used as a service vehicle to transport in our office mail throughout the district.
Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the request to purchase the vehicle for plant maintenance.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, request to purchase vehicles for transportation.
Yes, sir. The transportation department is requesting permission to purchase vehicles from Landers Auto Group. These vehicles will be used to transport equipment, supplies, and materials.
Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the request to purchase vehicles for transportation.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Williams. I thought you were gonna buy some cars or something. Ms. Hadley.
You're all budgeted, by the way.
That's good. That's good. Statement of revenues and expenditures for October 2024.
Okay, revenue collections through October for general funds are 89,639,547, which is 1% higher than FY '24 revenues at 88,844,587. The increase is due to the increased valuation of ad valorem and the increased MSFF formula. Revenues for all funds are 98,296,286, which is 2% lower than the FY '24 due to the high reimbursements received for FY '24 for ESSER. The general fund expenditures through October are 86,655,629, which is less than 1% increase over the FY '24 expenditures of 86,415,242. Expenditures for all funds are 114,327,902, which includes construction. The increase in the expenditures is in line with the budget and continues to trend 2% lower than the budget projections.
Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend to the board to approve the statement of revenue and expenditures for October 2024.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Ms. Hadley, combined balance sheet for October 2024.
Okay, the fund balance for all general funds is 184,131,893, which is up 12% over FY '24, which is 165,059,987.
Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the combined balance sheet for October 2024.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Ms. Hadley, statement of cash flow for October 2024.
Okay, the October cash balance for district maintenance is 172,192,000. 109,752, which is 77% of the cash balances for all the funds standing at 224,771,244. And the amount invested with Smith Shellnut and Regions Bank at the end of October is 52,636,326.
Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the statement of cash flow for October 2024.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Ms. Hadley, certification of bank reconciliations for October 2024.
All bank statements have been reconciled with no exceptions.
Perfect. Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the certification of bank reconciliations for October 2024.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Hadley.
Thank you.
Mr. Alexander, how are you?
All right, so,
Good. Personnel.
sir, page 1 is recommendations, page 2 is personnel changes, page 3 is a note from Ms. Goss, the Director of Special Education, request to add an additional occupational therapist, assisting in preschool assessments. Page 4 is a memo from Ms. Goss. This would add an additional certified occupational therapy assistant. Page 5 is from Ms. Goss to add an additional psychologist, psychometrist to assist with preschool assessments along with other student needing assessments for special education. Page 6, a memo from Ms. Hassman, our assistant superintendent. This is a request to transfer one vocation unit from Fernando High School to Horn Lake High School for the remainder of this year. Page 7 is a request from Ms. Hassman to hire a teacher as a spring adjunct college algebra instructor for dual credit for 2 sessions at Center Hill High. The pay will be $2,500 per section for a total of $5,000. That would be 5 month installments from January through May. Page 8 and 9, a request for additional pay from Ms. Carol Ingram, our Director of Federal Programs, on employees to work as after-school tutors at South Haven Intermediate School for students needing additional academic support. A total of 600 hours at $30 per hour, beginning 12/6 and ending 6/30/25. Page 10 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Hassman on an employee who will serve as a critical needs satellite teacher for Horn Lake Intermediate School. This person will teach 3 sections at $2,000 per section. This will begin on January the 6th and end 5/23/25. Page 11 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Hassman. This will be a satellite teacher at Lake Commerce Middle School, and they'll also have 3 sections with those same dates and pay. Page 12, a request from Ms. Hassman for a satellite teacher to serve at Horn Lake Middle in the same 3 sections, the same dates. Page 13 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Hassman, another satellite teacher. This will be at South Haven Middle School with 3 sections also. Page 14 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Hassman on, this will be an employee to serve as a Mississippi Valley dual credit college algebra instructor. This is at Horn Lake High and Lake Commerce High, and that's 3 sections, and that's the adjunct college credit, so that's $2,500 per section. And then page 15 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Hassman for another teacher to serve Mississippi Valley dual credit college instructor at South Haven High School. This will be 1 section for a total of $2,500.
Mr. Usleton, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve personnel as presented.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
Make that
Do I have a second?
Second the motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Mr. Finley, student discipline issues. Do we have any?
Sure, we got student discipline added to the executive session.
Sir. We've now reached the point for public comment. As a board, we welcome public participation at our board meetings. While this is not a debate setting or a question and answer session, we do reserve this time at our regular scheduled board meetings for public comment and for citizens who have requested to appear. Board policy allows 30 minutes for public comment. Public comment involving student matters or personnel matters must be heard one at a time in executive session. Each person who wishes to comment will have 5 minutes to speak up to the 30-minute time limit is reached. When I ask for public comment, if you would, please stand and state your name, and if you have a student or personnel matter, please state that as well. Do we have anyone that wishes to comment? Yes, ma'am. Have you requested to appear? Ms. Biggins? No. Oh, that's, okay, perfect, thank you. Okay. And then we also have two requests to appear, Ms. Washington and then Ms. Biggins. Are y'all here? I need a motion for consideration of closed session to determine whether the board should enter into executive session for the following matters. Student matters of early graduation, discipline matters, and then requests to appear.
I make that motion.
Motion, do I have a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Chase will come back to inform you whether we stay in executive session. Our next board meeting is scheduled for Monday, December 16th at 10 a.m.